Have you ever noticed how some people retreat into a haze, disappearing into smoke yet seeming perfectly present? There are moments in life that feel strangely heavy, where the world presses down and silence feels safer than conversation. And for many, that safety comes wrapped in a familiar green cloud. A person lights up and the room fills with swirling smoke. Externally, they appear relaxed. They laugh at the right moments, nod when others talk, and drift through social spaces with ease. Internally, something different is happening. Stress seeps away, worry softens, the edges of thought blur. Emotions become more manageable, or at least quieter. What they are seeking is not just relaxation, it's escape. Escape from anxiety, escape from boredom, escape from the subtle ache of loneliness. And that escape, for a brief moment, feels like survival. This is the emotional escape. People use weed as a shield, a buffer against the intensity of their own mind. They are not broken for doing this. They are human in a way that craves calm, craves relief, craves a space where the weight of thought isn't crushing. Smoke fills the air and they dissolve into it, momentarily invisible to the pressures pressing on them. And yet, even in that invisibility, the mind is quietly observing itself, aware, processing, sensing. Some call it chilling, some call it just having fun. But beneath that label lies the illusion of control. You think you are choosing it freely, that the puff is a conscious decision, but choices become patterns. Dependence creeps in unnoticed, subtle, and patient. The brain tells itself a story. I am in control, I am choosing peace. Meanwhile, the mind is quietly rewiring, getting used to chemical quiet over its own natural calm. Inner conflict starts to build. You tell yourself it's a choice, and yet part of you wonders whether the relief is really voluntary. People don't just use weed alone, they gather. The glow of shared joints, laughter ringing over mellow tunes, the ritual of passing and puffing. These are social bonds, but bonds of smoke. There is a sense of connection, but it is fragile. Conversations float like the haze around them, light and drifting, rarely deep enough to touch real vulnerability. Pseudo-connection feels comforting, but it replaces the riskier intimacy of authentic sharing. And still, the warmth of that shared space is appealing. It is human to seek it. You are not strange for wanting to belong, for craving the sense of being understood, even if temporarily, even if chemically induced. Over time, identity begins to fold around these patterns. They start to become a stoner, a label adopted and internalized. Shadows stretch longer in the dim light, and if you look closely, the figure in the smoke might not just be the person, it might be their habit-made flesh. Identity and action blur. You are not just using, you are being. Tribe and habit fuse, and the mind starts to measure worth and rhythm in relation to this part of self. The external world may not notice, but internally, the boundary between habit and identity thins. There is also the creative allure. Ideas bloom like sparks in a mind tinged with dopamine, and suddenly the world feels more vivid. Music is deeper, colors more striking, thoughts more profound, and yet often it's creativity without execution. The mind rewards the feeling of insight more than the labor of action. Dopamine misleads, telling the brain that ideation alone is progress. The person feels expansive, inventive, insightful, but outside, nothing has moved. Inside, the mind celebrates, while externally, the world waits for something more tangible. This leads back to the loop. Escape leads to dependency. You inhale, you relax, you vanish, and the mind slowly learns to crave that calm over natural presence. I can stop anytime, you tell yourself, but tolerance builds silently. What once soothed now only normalizes. Peace becomes numbness. Silence becomes unbearable. You chase the softening of thought, the dimming of feeling, unaware that the quiet you seek is not the absence of stress, it is the absence of confrontation with self. And what is being avoided? Perhaps the hardest question is not about weed itself, but about sitting fully, without shield or haze, with your own thoughts. What would happen if you faced your mind sober? What feelings would surface if no smoke separated you from your own reflection? There is a rawness there, yes, but also a depth, a clarity, a potential for connection to yourself, to the world, to moments that are fully felt. People who use weed are not broken. They are human in their pursuit of balance, in their desire for calm, in their search for connection. They are sensitive to the weight of life, and they navigate it in ways that temporarily soothe and shield. Understanding this is not judgment, it is insight. Awareness of patterns, motives, and desires is empowering. You can see the loop, the illusion, the escape, and recognize the subtle truths beneath. You are not strange or avoiding the world. You are simply choosing in your own way to navigate life's intensity. Some minds grow louder in smoke, some hearts soften in ritual, some find temporary clarity in chemical stillness, and others in silence itself. Awareness does not require renunciation. Insight does not demand purity. Choosing how to engage with your thoughts, your emotions, your connections, this is a form of self-awareness and strength. And so the smoke drifts, curling around the edges of identity, around social bonds, around creative sparks. And you watch it, not as judgment, not as critique, but as understanding. Because life is lived in layers, external and internal, quiet and loud, presence and escape. You are simply choosing how to move through them. The choices are yours, the patterns observable, the truths undeniable. And in seeing them, in naming them, in tracing the lines between habit, identity, and desire, you find not weakness, but clarity. You find a mirror, and in it, yourself, unshielded, whole, and human.